And all right, so today I want to talk about what's happening this week in the stars. Now, bear with me because I think this is my second live I've done, so I'm sort of sorting out the technical as I go. But I really want to start doing some lives and just bringing you information that's, you know, here like that you need right now and today. And so the biggest thing that's happening in June, in fact June is an amazing month. It's like a month of opportunity. Jupiter, the planet of abundance and expansion, just moved into Gemini, and in Gemini, it's great because Geminis are very creative. It's a very creative sign. They like to communicate. They're also very social, and just to sort of get in that inspirational, because there's some aspects between Gemini and Pisces as well. And even though it's a square, which is going to go on, through the month, with these two, a square in these mutable signs is not so difficult. And in fact, it can like highlight, areas and situations that you can look at that are going to be, really good for you. But right at the start of this week, Mercury is, I think this happened yesterday, on the 3rd, Mercury moved to Gemini. Now, Mercury is very comfortable here. It's one of the signs that Mercury rules. So in this sense, it's like home. And so, Mercury in Gemini, the other sign is Virgo. And so, first of all, Mercury is about communication. It's the thinking planet. So in Gemini, it really sort of gets us thinking about, what it is that we want to do. And because this week there is a connection between Mercury, it's today actually, between Mercury and Jupiter, and in Gemini, it's a conjunction. So both at the same degree, it's 2 degrees. And, this alone is such a great aspect because the Jupiter energy just opens things up. Okay, so it just opens up the airwaves, and it just gives. This is a great time for me to be doing my trial, my live test. I didn't plan it that way, but it's certainly a great time to do that, and it's a great time just to step out of our comfort zone. First of all, do the research. So Jupiter is going to open up opportunities, okay? Opportunities, possibilities, option, but you want to keep in mind that it's still up to you to be able to say, I want that. That's an opportunity. That's for me. It's like it's tailor-made. I mean, if you just sit back and do nothing, well, maybe it's going to land on your doorstep. I hope so. But if you want to increase the chances of really taking advantage of things that you're putting out there to the universe now, then, it doesn't hurt to give the universe a little bit of a helping hand, right? And with the Mercury energy here, and Geminis like to chat. Who knows a Gemini? I mean, I meet a lot of people, and sometimes I just sort of look at them and I try to, figure out, well, what sign are they likely? I'm pretty accurate with that, with the modes, whether they're an air sign or a fire sign, water, or earth, or so. But I can pretty well get that right if you just like sit and look at people. And, I love Geminis because they're just so friendly and outgoing. They're, they're amicable signs. They're sort of pretty easygoing, unless there's something they really care about. And, if a Gemini really digs their heels in about something, then you can be sure they've probably got a little bit of fire in there. Or it's something it's important to them. So you want to sort of pick your battles over this time. So even though it's in Gemini, the universal energy from the connection of these planets, and right now we're just talking about Mercury and Jupiter in Gemini. So the vibratory energy of these two planets together just help you to step out of your comfort zone a little bit, like think about what it is you want to say, and be able to first do some research, figure out what it is that you want and do some research about it. I'm an earth sign, so I like to plan things. And I actually have a lot of friends that will write to me, particularly with their men, like, how should I approach this? How should I do this? Most of my work is in business, I must say, but I have had a lot of success with relationships as well. I'm very, very good at writing scripts. And of course, the first thing I say as well, what sign is he or she? And that just the sun sign alone can give you such a great deal of information about that person. How, of course, the astrological chart is layers and layers and layers. But just to look at the sun sign, you do get a great deal of information about that person, how they act, how they go about things. And so, it's a wonderful study, astrology. It's a very sort of deep study knowledge. I mean, not one astrologer knows everything. I mean, there's very different sort of avenues that you decide that you're going to want to study, let's say. But, back to the Mercury with in conjuncting. And that conjunction, again, is when it's at the same degree. In this case, it's 2 degrees. So you want to have a look at your chart and see what you have around 2 degrees, because then it's going to sort of bounce off your personal chart, and that gives like another sort of a layer. But here's the thing with the Jupiter energy, and particularly with the Jupiter energy, for this whole year, for 12 months in Gemini, because Jupiter will move, change, and transit, will stay in a sign for 12 months. So each sign will stay there for 12 months. So as it's hitting different areas of your chart, then it's not going to be back in that position again for 12 years. So it's a significant change every year. Now, so it is the planet of possibility, opportunity, different options. So as I said, first of all, you want to do research, put some thinking time, or just sit back. How do I want to approach this? Pretend you're a Libra and say, if I go this way, what'll happen? If I go that way, what'll happen? And do like the pros and cons. Okay, so this is for all sides, as I said, even though it's just in Gemini, that vibratory energy is going to affect each of the 12 signs differently. And then, of course, it layers over and will give a different message again for your personal chart. All right. If you've never had a full chart session done, it's an amazing experience, and it is more expensive than the straight reading because of all the preparation work. I did just have a 30% sale off. I'm happy to extend that if anybody would like to go to the site and, want to book something. Just reach out to me. My email's easy to remember, Jennifer Angel, and I'll extend that to you. Okay, it's more important for me to give the knowledge because you learn so much from your chart session. It's generally a 90-minute session, sometimes longer. Okay, but right now, if you just, there's lots of sites you can go to just to sort of run your chart and find out where everything is. So right now you want to have a look at what's sitting around 2 to 3 degrees in your chart to see how there's 2 degrees in connection between Mercury and Jupiter is going to affect you. Now, also on that, 2 degrees is what it's just moved out. So what happens when a sign ingresses into a planet, rather ingresses into the next sign? It's then as it leaves the sign, it sits at like 29 degrees. As it moves into the next sign, it's at 0 degrees. So when it's doing this, you've got like a combined energy source. It's called a critical degree. It intensifies it. So we're still just in that like intensified time. So this is a great time just to step out of your comfort zone, particularly with communication, like I'm doing today with my live. All right. Let's see if I can master this. I'll come back and do it more often. Technology is a great thing when you know how to use it, right? And Gemini is all very much about technology as well. And the Pluto move that's into Aquarius now is all about the technology. But I have done a full video on this on YouTube, and we'll be talking about that many times throughout the year. But look for the opportunities. Be prepared to step out of your comfort zone. Say what you need to say it from the heart. Let's not forget that Jupiter is the planet of the soul as well, and it sits in that 9th house, which I consider to be the house of the soul. Okay, so it has a deeper meaning, and also that means what you do during this time can really sort of help you grow, not just on a material level. And let's face it, the material level is very important too, because we're living here on Earth in a physical body. So we need to be able to support ourselves. But this particular anything to do with Jupiter just goes deeper, and you always have to remember, no matter what's happening, there's always another side to the coin, number one. Okay. And number two, we don't always know what's coming. So sometimes our actions today or things that we're starting in place today can work out totally different than what we expect. And that is the great thing about the Gemini energy as well, is it's flexible energy, it's more spontaneous, and this is like all signs of things that you can do right now just to be able to tune into that. Of course, all the earth signs like to get everything locked down. So for the earth signs, it's a good exercise just to allow yourself to be a little bit flexible, which can make you feel you're a little out of control. Okay, so it's sort of a lesson in, being out of control. I mean, and then the air signs, because Gemini is an air sign. So the air signs are thinking signs, they like to think things through. So, it's perfect with this energy. Fire signs are more active and putting things into, getting things done, pushing them through. So for the fire sign, you want to be careful, taking a step back, thinking it through. Just because somebody spoke to one of my clients this morning, and he wasn't sure what he wanted to do with the situation, I said, you know what, just sleep on it. Just he's across the other side of the world, so he's going to sleep soon. I said, look, just sleep on it. Do you have to give a reply right now today? No. So give yourself a little bit of time. And that's what I would say to the fire signs during this time. Just give yourself a little bit of time, unless it's really, really urgent. Don't feel you have to rush forward and rush in. And for the water signs, it's always like, how does it feel? Does this feel right? Does it look right? Does it feel right? And that's a good message for all the signs. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to close off now unless anybody has any questions. And I'm planning on coming back and doing this a number of times a week. I'm sure I'll get real comfortable with it. Okay. I see a couple of people on. Thanks so much for being here. And we'll see you again soon. All right. Okay. Bye for now.